Hi everyone. Let's get started with today's application problem. So we are in lesson 8. This is our application problem. It's on page 57 in your Blue Spine Learn book. So we are read, draw, and writing, but notice there are actually two questions. We have an A and we have a B. So we still have to read it all. We'll solve, that's our draw, and then we have two questions we need to write. So let's read this first. Organic whole wheat flour sells in bags weighing 2 and 915 thousandths kilograms. A. How much flour is this when rounded to the nearest tenth? Use a place value chart and number line to explain your thinking. So I saw one question mark in here. The question is, how much flour is this when rounded to the nearest tenth? So I'm going to turn that into a sentence. When rounded to the nearest tenth, 2.915 is, almost ran out of room. There we go. And then B says, how much flour is this when rounded to the nearest 1? We use the same thing, a sentence. When rounded to the nearest 1, 2.915 is, whoop, you couldn't see that. There you go. When rounded to the nearest 1, 2.915 is blank. Okay, if you think you can solve this, I want you to pause the video, solve, and then come back and check your work. Okay, if you need a little bit more support, I know this is still new to us. Let's do this together. So I know my number that I'm using right here is 2.915. They said to use a place value chart, but really here's what they want to know. We're rounding to the nearest tenth. Which one of these numbers is in our 10th place? That would be my 9 here. So it means I have to use everything that came before that 9. There we go, 2.9. Let's draw our number line. Where does that 2.9 go? It's going to go here at the bottom, 29 tenths. So this is going to be the lowest number we could round to. What if we had one more tenth? Right now we have 29 tenths. What would be one more? Well, 29, 30. 30 tenths. Look at how this looks. The number 3 and then a 0, that's 30. And I have my decimal going in between those numbers, so I only have that 0 in the tenths place. This is 30, it ends in the tenths, 30 tenths. Okay, what's our midpoint here? Is there any number between 29 and 30? Nope. Yeah, add a 0. I'm going to put a line through it just so I remember these aren't really there. Now, what's in between 290 and 300? Right in the middle when you know. What's in between those two numbers? Should be 295. Remember, our midpoint always ends in a 5. I would say for these numbers we're rounding to. Okay. Now we have to figure out where is our number. So this is 2.95. I'm going to write that over here just to help me. And here's my original number, 2.915. I think they're trying to trick us because one of these is larger. Does that mean it's already a bigger number? So far they're the same. They're the same. Now they're not the same. This top one is larger. It has a 5 versus the 1. This one just has an extra digit. But if I add a 0 here, 915 is smaller than 950, which is this. So our number is smaller. Doesn't really matter where we put it, but it'd be about there. So do I round up or do I round down? We round down. 2.9 is what we're going to round to the nearest tenth. Okay, let's do this last one. How much flour is it when we round to the nearest 1? So write out the number. Underline your ones place. Which one is that? Should be here. And there is nothing before it, so I'm just going to use that 2. All right, I want you to see, even if you couldn't solve that first one by yourself, see if you can solve this one. Pause the video if you need to get more time. All right, for those of you checking your work, let's look. So the 2 goes to the bottom. What would be one more? 3. And what's in between 2 and 3? Should be 2.5. Do you remember what that looks like? So if you're not sure, add a 0. In this case, we have to also add a decimal. What's in between 20 and 30? 25. And I just need to make sure that decimal stays in the same place. So now, where is our number in comparison to 25 tenths? So I have 25 tenths. Our number has 29 tenths. It's going to be more. Do you round up or do you round down? We round up. So round to the nearest 1, 2 and 915 thousandths is 3. How'd you do? All right, we're going to be doing more rounding tomorrow, so it's okay if you haven't perfected this yet. You have lots of time. Good job, everyone.